Hi everyone, welcome to my page. So today I want to talk a little bit about depression and anxiety. Something I've been struggling with for a long time now. However, about 8 months ago, I started talking out about my own struggles with anxiety and depression, and I feel like that has been a huge thing for me to do, to go public with it. Essentially, I had a long conversation with my children and my family and some of my close friends, and have even gone public in terms of creating a YouTube channel and going live on my Facebook pages to talk about what I've been going through. Once I started talking about it, depression and anxiety, I've definitely felt a lot better about myself. I found easier ways to deal with it and cope with it, different strategies that have helped me to deal with this battle that I have going on in my head all the time. Well, maybe not all the time, but at times at this point. Basically, over the last 8 months, I've been able to have a little less time in that battle. But obviously, life happens and things stress you out and things bother you. And so sometimes my anxiety and depression creep back in. And I've been able to manage it primarily for me through music and through movement with exercise and through talking about it. At this point, here we are on March 19th, 2020, and we are in the middle of a crisis, essentially, in our country. And we are not in schools, even though we should be in school, and there's a lot of uncertainty about what is to come in our future. Of course, I want all my friends, family, my students, my colleagues, everyone I know to be safe and healthy. But of course, even though I want that for others and myself, that's not even the biggest part that concerns me right now, because here I am battling my depression and battling my anxiety. So today's Thursday, and on Monday I went into work. There were no students, but I went into work to get some stuff together in the event of potentially teaching classes from home and in the online forum. And then I've been off Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And each day this week, I've managed to get myself out and moving, at least for part of my day. I've gone walking every day with a friend of mine at our local track, which is really just a mile from my house. And I've walked my dog, and I've gone for a run, and I've exercised, and I've played my music. However, this is an unscheduled time off for me. It is not something I was expecting, obviously, and although we are being told that we will be going back to school in my district on April 1st, there's still no uncertainty. There's no certainty about that. I know other districts that are keeping their kids home even longer. And people, of course, are talking about the possibility of not having school for the rest of this school year, which would mean I would be home until September, and here it is March. Summer is always the hardest time of year for me with my depression because it is a time where I don't have a routine and I don't have consistency. And I tend to thrive on routine and consistency. So when I'm not in school during the summer, I don't have a huge chunk of my time filled with what I would be doing when I'm at work, when I'm teaching. But I do manage to fill my time with other stuff, other activities. Right now, I can't even fill my time with those activities because basically everything is shutting down. The gym is shut down, where I volunteer is closed, so can't work, malls are closing, can't go listen to music because bars are closing, can't go to the gym, I can work out at home, but I can't really go out anywhere other than to get some groceries, and that's not going to take a lot of time. So, excuse me. So here I am, 3 days into being home, and of course I do have some stuff to keep me busy, but all of this uncertainty is kind of driving me to a point of feeling more anxious and overwhelmed and more depressed. I know that when I go back to work, whenever that may be, I will be okay because I tend to do well with my routine, so I know I'll be okay. But right now, I'm finding that it's only 3 days into being home, and I'm finding it harder and harder to get outside of my own head. When I want to be productive, it's tough sometimes because when I'm stuck in my head, I can't think about things. Like I wanted to organize a cabinet today, and I did that. However, it was a little frustrating for me because it was like all of a sudden I couldn't even remember how to group things together that belonged together. And I was like, well, what do I do with this? What do I do with that? And it was just kind of less productive at first until I could take a deep breath and remember that I can do this. I am an organized person. And so I managed to clean out one of my closets today, among the other things of getting me in my exercise. However, each day I'm struggling with something and making it more difficult to stay present in the good. Of course, there's always something to be grateful for, and I do my daily gratitude post because there is always something to be grateful for. Even though I'm struggling, I still find something to be grateful for every day. However, I do have this fear that I'm going to end up back in a place where I was many years ago, where I was hospitalized a couple times for my depression, and I never want to go back to that place. So even though I've managed to figure out ways to handle my depression and my anxiety, it's still at a time like this creeping into my head like, well, what happens if this is a long-term change? Because not only am I not in my routine for working, but other things that I can fill my time with. There's only so much walking I can do a day, or so much I can do to fill some time where I'm moving and getting those endorphins going. So that leads me to just tell you that sometimes people are struggling with things and maybe they're not like me. Maybe they're not able to share what is going on inside their mind at a given time. I know that for me, even with this uncertainty and not feeling the greatest, it's causing myself issues with people around me. My husband and I are fighting, and maybe we wouldn't be fighting if I wasn't a little more on edge than I normally am. So that just, that's unnecessary. I don't really need to be getting into stuff with other people. But if I'm in a bad place, my patience is a little smaller than it would be on a normal day. I may snap, or somebody may say something that upsets me on a day where I'm fine. It wouldn't bother me. So really, it's just about being kind to one another and understanding that whether or not somebody is telling you out loud that they are struggling, or they're not telling you out loud that they are struggling, some people are struggling in this world. Some people around you are struggling and they just don't want to say it. So if you can be kind to others and maybe have a little more compassion for the people around you and understand that everybody has their own thing that they are struggling with inside, and maybe they just don't want to share it, but maybe they need that little compassion, and that'll help them get through whatever it is they are going through. I know for me, I will get myself out of this. It was a tough day today. It was a lot harder today than it was yesterday. And I do worry that tomorrow will be the same. And each day might get a little harder. But I am a fighter. And if I wasn't a fighter, I wouldn't be here anymore. So I'm going to continue to fight my own battle within my head while all of this is going on in the world around me. I'm going to continue to keep positive thoughts for my friends and family and my loved ones, and that everybody in the world stays safe and healthy and happy. But I'm going to continue to do my best to make it through so that I can not alienate the people around me while I'm trying to work through my own stuff. Have some compassion for the people around you. Maybe lend them your ear. Let them cry on your shoulder if they need to. Let them vent to you. Whatever it is, just be there for your loved ones and your friends and family. Maybe it'll be the one thing that helps them get through the day when they are struggling.